I want you all to put a little bit more commitment to the strike, a little bit more urgency and authority and confidence and no care attitude to striking the golf ball. Hi everyone, Murdoch here, hope you're well. Masters Week, Thursday, day one. I'm so excited when the Masters comes on. I think I'm like many others. It's the start of the season for me. It's the start of the season for a lot of UK golfers too, because the clocks went forward last week, got more daylight. Generally the winter weather's gone and we've got some spring weather to look forward to. So everyone's excited when the Masters comes on. So you'll all be watching, I'm sure. Now my audience generally is the sort of middle-aged to senior golfer, and that's what I like focusing on as well, the weekender, the office golfer, the business person that doesn't get to practice. So I'm sure you'll all be watching the golf in awe of these youngsters, incredibly flexible, extremely athletic, huge swings, quick hips, hitting it miles. I want you to enjoy watching all that, but there's something you can take for your own game from this. And I want to show you in this video what it is. Firstly, the setup. When you're looking down the line, when the camera's where mine is, you'll notice that they're all very consistent with the amount of knee bend, unless it's a Tony Finau that's sort of very tall and he's got very long arms. His hands are very low, but generally 80-20 rule, remember. Generally, they're going to have a soft knee bend. Bottoms are going to be back. Balls of feet, knees, back of the shoulders all stacked up. And depending on the shaft they're using, the club, the shaft length, their spine will be at 90 degrees to the shaft. So in other words, a driver, ball further away, longer shaft, they'll be taller, but still 90 degree. Pitching wedge, 90 degree. So I want you to set up the same way. Because a lot of senior golfers, stiffness, sore, you'll bounce on the knees like this and be too vertical with your spine. That causes a number of issues that I've highlighted in other videos. So when you're watching the Masters and you're seeing the pros, take note of their setups. Now front on is another one. Front on, they're going to be a much wider stance than you. Remember, they're athletic. They're creating a huge torque with their back, with their body. Their shoulders are massive on the rotation. So you need a wider stance if you like that. But again, narrow it a little bit, make it a little bit easier to transfer, a little bit easier to rotate. So I want you to pick and sort of look more carefully when they've got a wedge in their hand, all right? So when they're hitting an 80-yard, 100-yard shot, and that's often pitching into some of these short par fours, third shot on par fives, this is where you can really watch. So you'll notice then how they're getting very much to that opposite right chest position that I talk of in videos. The checkpoint you have when you've done your turn drill and extended your arms. This is something you can relate to because you're capable of this. Everyone here watching will be capable of getting to this position. Then the commit through that they do. All right, so this is the thing. I want you all to put a little bit more commitment to the strike, a little bit more urgency and authority and confidence and no care attitude to striking the golf ball. So I want practice swings that you do to be a little bit more committed, but with the wedge. So watch the golfers on TV this week where they're getting to chest high only, hitting that 80-yarder, and they're through to a sort of similar position here. Notice how rotated they are. This is when it might be a little bit of a struggle for some of you, so please warm up well. But I'm a big advocate of the importance of getting as much rotation as you can out of your hips. So again, if you're quite wide with the feet, narrow it, and you'll see how it's a little bit easier to do this. But do it with your 9-irons, wedges first, and try and simulate. If you film yourself, great, because you can see the speed of your swing, you can see authority develop. But watching them on telly, you'll notice how there's a lot of speed and commitment through the ball as they play the shot. Authority. So that's another thing to watch. Now, if you applied that same authority to, say, your 7-iron down the handle, you'd play the same committed, compressed strike and the ball will have a good flight. So I'd rather you build a swing on something a little bit shorter and work into a length than straight into the driver, you'll play far better golf, learning your ability to swing with authority from the wedges, the 9s, the 8s, and then into 7, around that area, 150 yards and in. You could still be playing amazing. So focus on your strengths. So watch the Masters for that. The final thing I want you to take from watching the Masters is when they're around the green. I have videos on chipping, and I mention, I like that term, striking the match. That puts an authority on your action and a commitment to the strike. Now, striking the match, just briefly here, you can watch the video, I'll leave a link in the description. This is the match head, the ground's a striking board. So you're going to play shots with authority, again, a little bit more of a pulling through, bit of speed in the arms. Again, narrow stance, watch how they're turning the hip, watch how they're not going long and finishing in this position. It's very deliberate. They're going to strike with authority. I want you to take that aspect, think about it, and apply it to your game too. Thanks for watching. I hope that might sow a couple of seeds with you. Enjoy the Masters. Comment down below any questions you might have. Thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.